February 9th, 2004.
Yeah.
What significance does that date have in your memory bank?
Obviously, it's a very heavy date. And so it's a day that's not only hard for me, but I can't imagine how hard it is for others. It's a day that I changed the lives of so many people, whether it's students, staff, their families, the community. It's one of extreme pain and suffering for so many. And yeah, so I know that this day is difficult for a lot of people.
I hear so much emotion in your voice. I hear a lot of remorse. I'm wondering if you think the folks whose lives were impacted by that day realize how remorseful you actually are or appear to be.
I'm not sure how much impact that has on them, you know, because me being sorry doesn't take away what they experienced. Me going to prison, doing everything that I'm doing today doesn't take away what they went through, and I've always known that. But I do hope that it does give some solace to some people. I have had some people reach out to me and say that they're glad that I'm doing what I am today by speaking out and trying to prevent other communities from experiencing what they did. So I'm happy that it can help some, but I don't expect it to help everybody.
Sure. So knowing now what you apparently didn't know then, having healed emotionally, having turned your life around, over the course of the last 2 decades, have you ever thought, I wish I could go back in time, I wish I could have a conversation with my younger self to better understand what was happening? Has that occurred, or would that be a futile venture?
No, I think about it all the time, because I think about the conversation that I would have had with my 16-year-old self is the same message that I'm telling teenagers today. And that's not to hold back. When you're struggling, when you're going through a dark time, please find somebody you feel comfortable with to be open with. Because one thing more than any that I could wish I'd tell myself is to be open, to be honest, and to be vulnerable, not to hold back and be afraid of what people would think. But you have to find somebody who can help you, who you can talk with, because that will help you more than anything.
Do you think, though, people need to forgive, be able to forgive a 16-year-old who has mental health issues? Not everybody knows what that's like. You know what that's like.
So there's so many people who experience so much worse than I ever have, whether it's any type of mental health issues or trauma that they've gone through, and most people who experience that never lash out and hurt others. So I don't use that as an excuse. I don't use that to say that it wasn't as horrible as it was, but it is important to understand that these are influences, and if we can help others with their mental health, and if we can teach more young people how to work with their emotions and express themselves, we can hopefully avoid future tragedies.
Yeah. Jon, you have exhibited such remarkable grace in your life since 20 years ago. How were you able to do that?
I'm able to grow and become the person I am today because of the support that I have. I'm very lucky to have family, friends, and even a lot of people from the community who have reached out to me while I was in prison and since I came home to help me out. And I wish I had turned to that support sooner before I'd done this terrible thing.
Do you harbor any ill will toward those who still demonize you to this day?
No, I mean, it's obvious that so many people are hurting to this day because of me. So for them to see me as this horrible person, I understand. And I'm not looking for forgiveness. I'm not looking for people to see me as somebody who's different. My main goal is to always prevent future tragedies. And if they say that I'm a monster, well, I say, hopefully you can see others who are struggling as whether children or adults who we can prevent from doing something horrible.
Since your release, you have been on a crusade to speak about mental health issues, awareness, government funding, education. How is that effort going?
Yeah, so I've been able to connect with a lot of people, and it's been really great, the response and how many people do understand just how much we can be doing, whether it's educating people on mental health, trying to call for more resources in mental health to make them available and affordable for people. And it's an ongoing battle, and it's always uphill, but we're still moving forward.
So you do feel as if you are making progress.
I definitely believe so. Even if you're just able to help one person, you might not be changing the world, but you're changing the world for that one person.
At some point in time, you and Scarlett Lewis joined forces. How did that come about?
Yeah, so Scarlett Lewis reached out to me a couple months ago and shared her story with me. She lost her son. She lost her son Jesse in Sandy Hook Elementary School. And she shared that with me, but she shared with me how she was able to turn her anger and just how upset she was into a force of courage, forgiveness, and compassion, and how she was willing to talk with me and to work with me, because although we're coming from opposite sides of these tragedies, we have the same goal now, and it's to help people. And it's been amazing working with her for the past couple of months.
Tell us about what you've been doing with the Choose Love Foundation and how you think that is furthering your goal to educate the world and to bring understanding.
Yeah, so Scarlett started up the Choose Love movement, and it's to help get some emotional intelligence curriculum into daycares, schools, and even prisons. So she's really trying to help a lot of people, and she's asked for me to be a part of that. So I've been able to talk with people and kind of spread that message and share that this curriculum is free on her website, chooselovemovement.org. And it's for kids of all ages, and as she says, even for us big kids who need a little help learning how to deal with our emotions better.
How do you gauge the success of that program, and how long might it take to gauge that success?
Yeah, so she's been doing it for years, and there have been downloads in all 50 states and 120 countries. So she's providing this curriculum and making a difference. And there are definitely schools who have responded saying that they have decreased problems with kids, and they have increased grades. So it's making an impact, and it's a beautiful thing.
Look into your crystal ball. Where is your life going? Where is Scarlett's life going? Are they on parallel paths?
Yeah, I think our lives are definitely on parallel paths, and I think the future is going to be much more of us working together, working with others, and making this message known that these tragedies can be prevented, and we can do so by teaching kids more about their emotions, how to identify them, how to cope with them, and how to express them, and also how to help others who may be struggling, so we can make a difference.
Do you realize how absolutely remarkable your life is? Some people say for the better, some people maybe not, but this is just remarkable set of human circumstances that you're living through, you're experiencing, and you're trying to make the best of it.
Yeah, so my life obviously has been very intense for multiple different reasons, and I think that instead of giving up on life, I've been lucky enough to have people by my side pushing me forward, to use the extremes of, causing so many people to suffer as a way to how we can help others so that they don't suffer as well. And it's unfortunate that I've done what I did. It's horrible that I did what I did, but just because I served my prison time, just because I finished out my sentence, doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue to be responsible and do what I can, not to right the wrongs, because I can never right my wrongs, but I can definitely make a difference for others.
That's so beautifully stated. I'm wondering what I haven't asked you that you would like to say that is important, an important message to to send to others?
I've never been able to talk with my victims and the people who have suffered because of me, so many of them. I want people to know that I'm sorry. If that makes a difference for them, I hope it can, but I want them to know how sorry I am. How it doesn't matter that I'm sorry for many of them. Like I said, it doesn't take away their pain, but I want them to know that I'm doing this for them. I'm doing this for the next group of kids who are growing up in this terrible atmosphere, excuse my language, but this terrible atmosphere. I'm doing this for them. I'm doing this to try to help. And I want them to know I'm doing it for them. I'm trying to make a difference.
School shootings are reported in the news seemingly on a daily basis. Is that disheartening to you?
It breaks my heart because it's been going on for decades, and it feels as if nothing, or at least not enough, has been done to prevent them. And I tell people the only reason why I speak out is because of that, because of the fact that they haven't been prevented, that we haven't been doing more. I feel it's necessary for me to do it, like I said, for those who I've hurt, and to hopefully be a force to make that preventative measures actually happen. Columbine is almost 25 years ago now, and still, it's getting worse. It's not getting better. And we need to be doing more, whether as individuals, as communities, as schools, as a country. We need to be doing more to prevent these things from happening. And yeah, it breaks my heart just as much as it breaks everybody else's heart every time we see another one of these tragedies happen. And it feels sometimes like you just want to give up, but you can't. You know, you got to keep going.
You have never given up, and I sense that you never will.
Again, I'm very lucky to have support to lean on, and that's one of the things that I also advise others.
Yeah.
When you have that support system, when you're lucky enough to have that support system, don't be afraid to lean on them. Whether you're going through a tough time or whether you're fighting this uphill battle that so many of us are to make a positive difference. And especially for the young ones out there, for the kids out there, you might feel like nobody's willing to listen, nobody's willing to help, but there's so many of us out here fighting for you. And just keep reaching out, keep finding somebody will listen and somebody will help.
Jon, you know what troubles me? You're feeling guilty for the actions that you took under incredible emotional duress. People who are suffering the effects of mental health crisis don't necessarily know what they're doing. I'm not a psychiatrist. It pains me to see that pains you. And I want you to know there are a lot of people who forgive you, who are incredibly impressed with the way you turn your life around and how you have come out and for what you were doing. And just keep on doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that, and I want to say that one of my greatest motivators is my sense of guilt and remorse. And I tell people that if you've done something that you feel horrible for, use that as a way to motivate yourself to do better.
Yeah,
And
well,
I appreciate your help and everybody else's.
well, just keep on doing what you're doing,
I will.
because you're doing a lot of wonderful things for a lot of people. And I know that when I speak with Scarlett, she will probably echo those sentiments, because she too has turned tragedy into such a positive force.
Her stories, I'm inspired by Scarlett. She really is, like you said, a force for change, and it's a blessing and an honor to have had her reach out to me and to be able to work with her.
Yeah. Again, so beautifully stated. Thank you, Jon.